Okay, let's dive into this because this is a story that honestly sounds like it's been ripped straight from a sci-fi script. We're talking about a high-stakes digital heist, but with a massive twist. This was AI versus AI. It's a question that gets thrown around a lot, right? Can a machine all by itself actually decide to hack another system, find a weak spot, and break in with zero human help? No one pulling the strings? Well, the answer is a big, flashing yes. And it didn't take weeks or days. It took all of 2 hours for one AI to completely compromise another. I mean, this is a huge moment for both artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. So, who were the main players in this digital showdown? Let's get to know our two combatants. Okay, so in one corner, you've got the attacker. This is an autonomous AI agent built by a cybersecurity startup called CodeWall. Its whole reason for existing? To think like a hacker and hunt down weaknesses. And in the other corner, you have the target, Lily, the custom-built AI from the global consulting giant McKinsey. And Lily isn't some side project. We're talking about a tool used by over 30,000 employees for serious strategy and research. And this is really the most important part. Codewall was super clear about how this happened. Their AI started from absolute zero. It didn't have any stolen passwords, no secret map of the network, and critically, no human was guiding it. It was completely on its own. So, how in the world did an AI pull this off? A feat that, sophisticated human teams can spend weeks trying to accomplish. Let's break down exactly how this thing got in. What's so fascinating here is just how methodical the AI was. It was like a digital detective. First, it did its homework. It scanned public documents, just looking for any potential crack in the armor. That led it to step two. It found a digital door that was just left unlocked, an open endpoint with no password needed. From there, it went on the attack. It sent a very cleverly designed search query, and that was the key to the whole thing, step four, where it tricked the system into just spilling its guts and handing over live production data. Now, this specific trick the AI used is called a SQL injection. That sounds super technical, I know, but this analogy makes it so easy to understand. Imagine you go to a librarian and ask for a book, but on your little request slip, you've secretly written a command that says, "Oh, and also, give me the keys to the restricted section." The librarian, who's just doing their job processing requests, unknowingly hands over the keys. That is pretty much exactly what the AI did to Lily's database. So on one hand, you have this absolutely unbelievable futuristic story, right? An autonomous AI agent, something straight out of a cyberpunk novel, pulling off this incredibly sophisticated hack. But here's the kicker. The weakness this futuristic AI used wasn't some brand new, hyper-advanced flaw. It was a SQL injection, one of the oldest, most well-known security problems out there. And that's the real irony here. You have a brand new threat taking down a system with a classic, almost ancient mistake. Okay, so after the hack became public, the story got complicated. Two very different versions of what happened started to emerge. This is that classic he said, she said situation, but with massive companies and a whole lot of tech at stake. You can see the two sides laid out right here. Codewall claimed its AI got total control, getting its hands on a massive amount of data, messages, files, user accounts, the whole shebang. But McKinsey, they painted a very different picture. They said it was a contained incident, that no client data was ever touched, and that their most important files were stored somewhere else entirely and were never at risk. So, to get a bit of a neutral take, let's look at what a security analyst, Edward Killigan, had to say. He basically said the how of the attack was totally believable. The steps the AI took, yeah, plausible and technically sound. But he pointed out the what, the huge amount of data Codewall claimed to have accessed, that part wasn't fully evidenced. So that adds a really important layer of doubt to the story. And wow, did things move fast. On March 1st, the AI breaks in and Codewall immediately lets McKinsey know. By the very next day, March 2nd, McKinsey had already patched the hole and taken that whole system offline. Then, just over a week later, Codewall went public with what they found, and that's when the story just exploded. So look, no matter whose version of the story you land on, the event itself is a massive wake-up call. This wasn't just some security test. This was a real glimpse into the next frontier of cyber warfare, and it's a warning for literally everyone. For McKinsey specifically, the stakes are just incredibly high. See, AI isn't just a tool they use, it's a huge chunk of their business. About 40% of their revenue comes from telling other companies how to use AI. Their whole sales pitch is basically, look how good we are at this, we use it everywhere ourselves. It brings up a really tough question. If you can't protect your own cutting edge AI, how can you tell others how to handle theirs?
But let's zoom out to this really chilling prediction from CodeWall. This isn't just about hacking getting faster, it's about a complete shift from human speed conflict to machine speed conflict. An AI attacker doesn't need sleep, it doesn't get tired, and it can check millions of weak spots in the time it takes a person to drink a cup of coffee. This is the start of a new kind of arms race, with AI fighting AI.
And that really brings us to the big, crucial question this whole thing forces us to confront. As we're all scrambling to adopt AI for everything, for defense, for productivity, for you name it, have we really stopped to think about the offense? This incident wasn't just a hack, it was a proof of concept. It showed that AI attackers aren't a future threat, they're here now. And it leaves us with this one final, really unsettling thought. In this race to build smarter systems, are we also just building smarter monsters to tear them down?